Steve Matthews here with Next Wave Athletics here in Meigs County with the Meigs County Football Show, sponsored to you by Rick Cox Construction. I want to thank Rick Cox and everything they do over there. When you sponsor one of these shows, you're not only sponsoring the show and everything we're doing over here, but helping one of these young men hopefully fulfill their dream of playing football at the next level. But excited to be here with Coach Fitzgerald at Meigs County High School. Coach, you're off to a great start. Just finish up with Polk County in a big win for you guys there. Can you tell me a little bit about that game and who played well and how that went?
Well, I just think the team in general, this is a team that really loves to play football, Steve. I've talked to a bunch of people and told them whether it was spring practice, fall practice, practice during the week, they just like football. They even like practice. And you don't get too many teams that like that. They don't complain. They don't say it's too hot. They don't say how long are we going to be out there. They just like to play football. And you see that every Friday night. Had a couple of games where we've not been real clean. Tellico, we turned the ball over. The last couple of games we've gotten better. We're just trying to be a better football team each week, trying to take care of ourselves. Got Copper Basin this week, out of conference opponent. Then we got Tyner and Marion County in conference, in region to finish up. So, we got 3 games left and just looking to be the best we can be each week. Talking about last week, Logan Carroll's really stood out the last couple of weeks. I think he's thrown 1 incompletion in the last 2 games, thrown for over 400 yards. Cameron Huckabee at receiver. And Jackson Shaver came on. Jackson Shaver had a big night at receiver. We were looking for that number 2 receiver. So, some of the times they like to double Huck. We were looking for that number 2 receiver, and Jackson Shaver came on. Defensively, our 2 defensive ends, really good football players, and Ferguson and Tatum. Luke Pendegrass has been playing well inside. Bryson Falls, again with Huck and Shaver in the secondary, are doing a great job. And then Austin Andrews and Otting and Stevens, our seniors up front. And then one sophomore we got up there, Landon Thompson's really come on the offensive line and playing as good as anybody we've got up front right now.
Yeah, and speaking of loving football, I came out and watched you guys practice. I'd known you a little bit, maybe through other coaches and other people. Never really seen you guys practice. I came out, I think it was before the season started, and watched you guys practice. And I got to tell you, I was, I hate to say it, I was a little bit surprised, but extremely impressed. And I've told everybody that it was a camaraderie there with your players, the coaches. You knew who was in charge, obviously, but definitely it was camaraderie, and it just kind of hit me. This is what high school football is all about. And then as I researched you more, 40 and 44 and 4, something crazy your record, and it just said, well, no wonder. After watching them practice, the organization that starts with the head coach and works down the assistants, but definitely love of the game is a key to that. And so
whatever you do there, though, your good teams are always run by your kids.
Exactly.
I mean, your players run those. And one of the guys I didn't mention that's a leader for us was Ben Smith, and I didn't mention him in the Polk County game because he got hurt early and wasn't in there. But he's kind of like Huck. You go to practice every day. Ben thinks it's a game. And, there's no backing off. There's no, Ben never plays those games, hey, you be easy on me, I'll be easy on you. No, it doesn't do that. And Ben is a big-time leader for us. And we've got those guys at practice that are making sure their teammates are doing what they're supposed to do.
No, and it's great to see. It was great for me to see. And the old cliche that if your best players are the hardest workers, you're going to have a good team. Meeting with some coaches over the course of this season, talk a little bit about philosophies and things like that. Everybody's different as a head coach on how they deal with their staff. At some schools, and I was fairly demanding, I thought, on my staff. But I've been over here 2 or 3 times now, and you're in the office, you're laughing, you're joking with your staff. Other coaches maybe keep them at arm's length. Is that because maybe you're at a smaller school, or what's your thinking behind that?
Well, my philosophy on the coaching staff is you have to get along, or you're not going to be able to do anything. It's kind of like with the kids. If you can't get along with each other and have fun with each other, then you're not going to be real good when you play. And listen, we've been doing it so long around here now. I'm in my 8th year, and most of the coaches have been with me that whole time. They know what to expect. They know what I expect. What you got to remember is this is high school football, and let's have a good time at it. We're not in it making millions of dollars. Some of those guys not making millions of dollars. And my thing is, if we've got to be here and spend this time, we're going to have a good time while we're doing it. And we're a staff where we can get in here and we can get on the board and argue and fuss and fight. But when it's over, it's over. I know there's other staffs. If you start to get in a squabble in a staff meeting, that squabble leads to tomorrow and the next day and all that. But it doesn't here. I like to delegate. So if I tell you you're coaching inside linebackers, I don't care how you coach them. Just on Friday night, they better be able to do A, B, and C. I don't care what you do with them. Defensive coordinator, he has the plan. Coach Cameron, offensive coordinator, they have the plan. Coach Hackney, special teams coordinator. Yeah, it comes through me, but I want you to coach.
Right.
It's not a dictatorship. We all have an equal part in this. And if anybody thinks they can run a high school program without a great staff, they're crazy. It's the staff. It's the staff that makes the program.
You're exactly right. I always thought as a head coach, that's your most important part of your program is the staff. And I was a little bit different, and I'll ask you about this. So you must really trust these guys. I always thought, if my name's going to be, or if, the win and loss, can I really turn it over to him to call all the plays and do it? So there's obviously a lot of trust there in your assistants for you to be able to do that.
There is. We'll go back with my offensive coordinator. Good Lord, I've been a head coach about 20 years. I think he's been my offensive coordinator 18 or 19 years. So you know what you're going to do. Coach Bunch, who is now my defensive coordinator. On a truthful story, I saw the superintendent that hired me the other day. I said, do I have to keep any of these coaches when I got here? He said, the only one you have to keep is Tommy Bunch. Tommy's now my defensive coordinator 8 years ago. And, and I kept Coach Hackney and a couple others. But really trust there. Coach Hampton, that's on the staff, has been with me for a long time. But, these guys, they like building relationships with kids. So I know they're going to be good there. X's and O's are fine. The biggest thing I want my staff to do, I really don't care what they know X and O's when they come on. We'll all learn together. So I want to be able to build relationships with kids and be able to motivate kids. And if you can build relationships and motivate, X's and O's.
That's easy.
That's easy. We steal everything we get.
Exactly.
I mean, nobody's making anything new up. We're just stealing it. So if you're willing to work and you're willing to have relationships with kids, then you're going to be able to work on this staff.
I remember one time I was watching a volleyball game, and I was watching this guy coach, and I just thought he was outstanding, and I got to know him. I tried to hire him to coach football. He was like, well, I know nothing about football. I said, well, don't worry about that part.
No,
that's
we'll
easy.
That. You go watch that. We'll figure it out. Football's pretty simple once you get down to it.
It is. So talking about your journey a little bit as a head coach, I know you're at Ray County for several years, and now coming over to Meigs. Did you anticipate, you went to Hickson and now Meigs. Did you anticipate this amount of success that you've had before you came over here, or is this something you thought, hey, this is a program I can really help? What was your thought process?
I don't know that I thought we could have this type of success. When we talked about it this week and went back and looked, we're 68-7 in our last 75. That just doesn't. I tell some of my young coaches, hey guys, your career's going to go downhill at some point.
Doubt.
It's not going to keep.
I was way off. I thought 44-4.
68-7 in the last 75. Yeah. That's in the last 6 years. 2 state championship games, a semifinal game. No, I don't think as a coach you ever think that. Now, what I knew was that it was a tight-knit community that loved their school, whether it be any sport, whatever sport. They've been successful in all of them. I knew they were going to get behind you. I knew the administration was going to get behind you. So I knew we had a chance to be good. As you've seen, I don't know that anybody ever thinks you're going to be 68-7 good. I don't. That's just unless you're at Alcoa or Maryville.
I'm sitting here racking my brain. Can those two even say that?
Yeah, they're out there about like that
in the last 75. And Oakland's obviously coming.
Oakland's there.
Yeah.
When we go back and look at it, we're probably one of the top 5 over the last 6 years in the state. Oakland and Maryville and Alcoa.
That's incredible.
Peabody's been there. Just the things that he's done over there beat us the last 2 times. But I just think, and it's not me. We've had some really good football players. We've got some really good coaches. We've got a really good community that supports us. So it all has to tie in together.
Right. And I know one of your philosophies that I think, a lot of people can learn from, including myself, is you see your preseason preparation. You're good. A lot of times you go out there, you're going to have the better team. Burnout is something that's real at the high school level. And just talking to you and some of your assistants, tell me a little bit about that approach to the preseason.
Well, and I think it always goes back through the summer. We only come in 3 days a week, 3 nights a week throughout the whole summer till you go in pads. I know sometimes people come back and after the dead period, they'll start 4 and 5 days a week in July. And if your true goal is to get to December, the first weekend of December for a state championship, I mean, you're asking those kids to do and those coaches to do more than they are in the SEC in major college football. Major college football does not start till, middle of August.
Right.
We're talking July.
Yeah.
And so we're wanting to go a month and a half longer than what college kids are going through. I just don't believe in it. And then once you get into the season, I think you got to cut practice time down. I think you got to cut the time that you have the kids in the building down because you don't want to burn them out. I know a lot of coaches that their football teams are really good at the first of the year.
Yeah.
And as the year goes on, they regress instead of progress because they've been there so long and done so many things that they're just tired.
Yeah.
And we want to be fresh once we hit the playoffs.
You're right. And coaches, I don't want to use the word boredom, but let's add these plays. And it's just too much.
Well, and I talked to 2 or 3 coaches because last year you had no summer hardly.
Right.
You had no scrimmages.
Yeah.
You had and you were trying to get them in and out because of COVID like we are this year. And what a couple of coaches said to me, and Coach Herrig was one of them at Loudon, is what that should have proved is we don't have to spend as much time as we have before
to
get a good football team. Yeah. And so we just cut down on the time we spend. Now, the time we are here, we want to work and get some things done. Mm-hmm. But when you come into the preseason, I only bring them in 1 time a day, 6 o'clock at night. We're 6 to 8:30, 9 o'clock, where I know some do 2 a days, some have them here all day. We don't do that. We don't want to burn them out.
Right. 68 and 7 scheduling. I know that's difficult, I'm sure. So you have your region games. How big of a challenge is that during the off season?
Not been real big because we have 3 longtime rivals here that when I came here, they wanted to make sure we played Polk County, they wanted to make sure we played Sweetwater, and they wanted to make sure we played McMinn Central. And we played all of them again. Last year, last couple of years we had South Pittsburgh. This year, what I thought would have been a really good game, we had scheduled the Kings Academy. They had some really good football players. And we did that early in the year to go against some good, and that one got canceled because of COVID. But scheduling is something you got to look at, and you want to schedule some good teams so that you play some people to get you ready for the playoffs. Yeah,
no doubt. Well, I know you guys will be ready. Got Copper Basin this week. Wish you nothing but the best. Appreciate you spending some time with me.
Thank you and all that you do for these kids.
Well, I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
Here with Next Wave Athletics, here with Bryson Falls, defensive back at Meigs County High School. Had a tremendous amount of success here at Meigs. Undefeated right now. Went to the state championship last year. Came a little bit short. What are your expectations for the season moving forward?
I'd like to get there and get it this time.
Yeah.
I don't like silver balls. I like to add a gold out there in the school.
That's good. And you have that big ring on your finger?
Yeah.
That's good. Well, you guys can definitely have the talent and the ability, kind of watching you guys from afar. Now, Coach was talking about the camaraderie of the team, how you guys all get along and the camaraderie you have. Talk to me a little bit about that.
A lot of it has to do with us in the locker room. I mean, a lot of us do get along, and then there's times to where we do. Brothers fight and they get at it, but, I mean, we all just come right back together. We're real good with it. In our senior class, I mean, we've been together with each other since far back as I can remember.
Right.
I mean, but So we just all work really well
Good,
together.
good. Well, I know your goals are to play college football, and Next Wave is helping you with that. How do you balance that? Sometimes it's difficult. Hey, what's going to happen, in December and January?
Yeah.
But you also want to put, 99.9% of what you're doing is right here with Meigs County. How do you balance that?
I mean, a lot of it, I really do want to go to the next level, but my main goal is win
Right.
football. I like winning football games, but I'm willing to do whatever to win football games.
Well, good. Well, we wish you nothing but the best, and appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yes, sir.
All right, Next Wave Athletics here at Meigs County Football Show. Here with Austin Andrews, center and defensive lineman, or not center, but offensive lineman, defensive lineman. Did play a lot of center. This year, things have been going great. You're obviously a guy that's one of the leaders of the team, and Coach Fitzgerald was talking about how his leaders are also his best players. Is that something he talks about, or something just comes naturally to you? How does that come about?
Well, when you're wanting to be a leader, you've got to lead by example, and so you got to be the best out at practice, and you got to be the best on the field and the best in the weight room. So if you're going to be a leader, you got to lead by that example, and just being the best has got to be the way you have to lead.
Right. And as far as football is concerned, I've been around you enough to know you love the game. What do you love about football?
It's unlike any sport, really. I mean, it's the physical aspect about it, the team atmosphere about it. There's just no other sport that's got those two components that go together and make up a game like football.
It is having everybody involved.
Yeah.
It takes to win. You guys are obviously very successful right now. But you're also, and I don't know if I believe you, but you told me you're a really good golfer.
I'm a pretty avid golfer. I do golf. Try to golf about every weekend or so if I can,
So what's your top score?
Well, I played a buddy of mine about 3 weeks ago, and it was for a bet, and I had to win, so I put my game face on and I shot 2 under.
Wow, 2 under on the first 3 holes.
Yes.
That's good. Hey, 2 under. That's great. That's great. Last year came up just a little bit short. You guys have had a ton of success here. What's the little extra going to take to get the gold ball this year?
I think this senior group that we have here has always been the team that's won it. We won it on our 8th grade year, and I think that just the leadership factor, like you said, we have a bunch of leaders on this team, and I think the brotherhood of our team is really set solid this year.
Which is key.
Yes.
You don't want to let the guy beside you down. I've been extremely excited to watch your staff. The little bit I've been around them. What can you tell me about the coaching staff?
They're a great staff all around. They get us prepared each week for what team we're going up against. Even if we're not going up against a grade 1 team, they get us ready and they want us to be better that week than we were the week before. And we can't just take cakewalk games as, it's just a regular game. They get on us. Even if we're winning 53-3 like we did last week, we had an extra long practice today because, we didn't do things that we needed to do last week to be perfect, because that's what we got to be to get to the last game and win that gold ball.
Well, good. Well, I wish you nothing but the best. Appreciate working with you.
Thank you.
Keep that golf score low and keep dominating on the lines.
Thank you.
Next Wave Athletics here with Luke Pendergrass at the Meigs County Football Show. Luke, appreciate you spending some time. I know you guys just had a tough practice. Got Copper Basin this week. What are you guys expecting on Friday?
We're expecting, to practice more, get little things corrected, to going into playing Tyner and Marion, and then going forward into the playoffs. Just looking to correct some little things, get everything perfected.
Yeah, and sometimes you have those times where, hey, it's about us. It's about us being the absolute best we can be. Knowing you love football, flying around, going to camps, going to campuses, the atmosphere that football brings. What is it about the game that you love so much?
Just you get to play with all your friends you see every day at school, and it's just experiences. You get to take frustration out that you get through the week, so everything built up, you can just let it all go. So
right. And if you had to say, look at an NFL player and thought, hey, this is my role model. This is a guy I look up to. Who would that be?
Al Wilson. Had to be
Al Wilson.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. You don't remember Zach Thomas, do you?
No, I don't remember.
You need to look him up on YouTube. He was a linebacker, was about your height, played for Miami Dolphins. Had a great career at Miami. I was talking to Coach Fitzgerald earlier, talking about how he tries to get you guys rolling into the playoffs, being the best team possible in the playoffs. There is a balance with your academics, with preparing through the season as you go. What do you do to kind of take care of your body as far as nutrition, weightlifting, all those things during the season to make sure you're ready to go in November, December?
Well, first off, I start off with a good breakfast. I'll eat a banana or some sort of Pop-Tart or fruit, something to get me started. And then I just make sure you got to get the right timing down for all your stuff. So you got to have school, practice, and then if you want to go to a game or something after, that's fine. But you got to make sure you get the homework done if you got homework or studying to go through the week. And also you got to watch film. You got to make sure all your preparations are good in your head. So go over everything in your head. And just be ready for Friday.
Now, how much film will you watch on your own going into a week?
From week to week, I would say close to about 3 or 4 hours.
Wow. And that's got to help you anticipating what they're going to do so you can be the first guy to the ball to kind of have an idea. Okay, I've seen this before on film. I know what they're going to do. So, well, that's great. Well, it's great catching up with you. Wishing you nothing but the best. Finishing out the season. I know you guys are going to do great. Thanks for taking the time.